Well, now it has been a very eventful week for the New York Giants. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we're going to start with Mike Kafka, who is the new head coach of the Giants. And he spoke to the media on Wednesday in his initial press conference and thanked Brian Dable, said that he learned a lot from him. He wishes him nothing but the best. He also said he's excited for this opportunity and he's ready to get started. As for any other coaching changes, he said that as of right now, they are not really making any changes in regards to the defense, but he did talk about the fact that they promoted a coach for the new offensive coordinator. So we're going to talk about that in a minute, but I just wanted to read through a couple highlights from what Kafka said. So he was asked about Russell Wilson and the quarterback change. He said that Russ is one of the best players I've been around. Can't praise him enough. He will attack being a backup like he always does. Um, uh, Kafka said that he has confidence in Bowen. He met with him the last couple days and they worked on some things that Kafka wants to tweak and improve. He said that Jameis Winston is very excited for the opportunity to be QB1, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And Kafka also said that he is going to continue to call the plays, even though he promoted someone to be the new offensive coordinator. So, excuse me, let's go ahead and talk about Jameis Winston as QB1, baby. So Jackson Dart is still in concussion protocol, and it's very unlikely that he's going to play on Sunday. From what I understand, the concussion was a tough one. Plus, the fact that every Giants player who's had a concussion this year, and there have been three of them, have not cleared concussion protocol before 10 days, which would be a week from today, which would be a full 10 days after the game where Dart got hit against the Bears. So he's not playing on Sunday. Now, Kafka met with Winston and Wilson and told them the deal and said that Winston is going to be quarterback 2 and Russ quarterback 3. And if Dart can't play, then they're starting Jameis, which obviously is going to be the case. So I'm excited. I think it's going to bring a new level of excitement to the game on Sunday, where probably so many fans are just over it and checked out and don't care what happens for the next few weeks, especially without Dart. And on top of that, I also think it just is a big move to show the players that you understand that it's your job as the coach to give them the best chance to win. And Russell Wilson was not giving you that in what he showed since basically the Chiefs game. Now, the question that I have is this: was Russell Wilson being quarterback 2 a Joe Schoen, John Mara, Steve Tisch decision as opposed to Brian Dable? I believe that that is the case. Now, the front office has told us many times that they don't meddle in decisions. However, there are multiple things that prove that to not be the case. One of which is Hard Knocks, where we saw it on video that John Mara told Joe Schoen not to trade Saquon Barkley. So, but he doesn't meddle in football decisions. He also came out in his statement about the firing and said that him and Steve Tisch decided that they were firing Brian Dable, not the GM, who you hire to make football decisions. And this has nothing to do with whether or not you like or dislike Joe Schoen. As the GM, that should be their decision. They should at the very least be involved in the conversation, I would think. It is possible that there have been a lot of conversations with Schoen, Mara, and Tisch behind closed doors where Schoen has given honest feedback and said, look, I'm riding with Dable. I think he has the tools, XYZ, whatever. And Mara and Tisch could have just been like, we don't care if XYZ goes wrong or whatever. He's on his last leg. That's also possible. But still, I think it's odd that they were like, we made the final decision and we told Joe Schoen, who is the GM. So I don't know, just very interesting there. We also have seen multiple reports that said that Joe Schoen was forcing Tay Banks on Shane Bowen and Brian Dable, saying, essentially that he was their draft pick and they traded up for him, so he has to play. There was obviously a lot of friction between Dable and Jalen Hyatt, and I really wonder if we're going to see Jalen Hyatt on Sunday, because maybe him and Mike Kafka are buds. Maybe Kafka has confidence in him. I don't know, man. All I know is that it's really frustrating to me that the people who are making decisions about who should be playing football are not good at making those decisions, and they should not be making those decisions. Your job as the owner is to be the owner. It's not to do what Jerry Jones does, okay? I talk a lot of shit about Jerry Jones because he's involved in all the decision making, and he shouldn't be because he sucks at it. And the same thing goes for John Mara and Steve Tisch. You guys don't know how to win. It's really obvious. I've seen every game. I've been there with my own two eyes. And your decision making is not helping you get there. So step back and let, people who know how to win take over. That's what I would like them to do. They can be involved, sure. But you got to hire someone who knows how to win football games, because at this rate, it's not the people who run the organization. So anyway, I'm happy that Kafka made that move. I still think it's odd that, I don't know. I don't know, but maybe they decided they are going to let Kafka have free reign because there's only 7 weeks of the season left, and they really want to see what he's capable of, so they're going to open it up. I don't know. Either way, good for you, Kafka. That's what I wanted you to do. I'm glad that you did it. Now let's talk about this. The fact that Kafka said that the only coaching change he's making right now is he promoted Tim Kelly to the offensive coordinator. If you do not know who Tim Kelly is, he is the current Giants tight ends coach and just got promoted. Now, Kelly has experience being an offensive coordinator in the NFL before. So when he was with the Texans, he was started as offensive quality control. Then he was offensive quality control and assistant offensive line coach. Then he went to the tight end coach, and then he went to offensive coordinator. Then he got promoted to offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. And then he was just the offensive coordinator in 2021. So he was OC for 3 years, 2019 to 2021, with the Titans and back when Vrabel was there. The Texans, excuse me. I'm sorry, that's not right. Vrabel was not with the Texans. He was with the Texans for 3 years. Then he went over to the Titans back in 2023 and was the offensive coordinator for a year there. And then he went over and he's been with the Giants since 2024. So anyway, he has experience as an offensive coordinator, which will help him moving into this role, but he's not going to be calling the plays. So he basically will be assisting with game plans and things like that. So we'll see how much changes on Sunday. But with that being said, we really need to talk about this, because this is the biggest reason not the biggest reason. It's one of the biggest reasons. I think Jackson Dart's injury was a really big reason. But I think one of the other biggest reasons as to why they fired Dable first and not Shane Bowen is because of this. Mike Kafka interviewed for the Saints head coaching role back in January of this year. And for whatever reason, they obviously chose Kellen Moore. I don't know if they offered Kafka an offer. I don't fully know what happened there. But what we do know is that he interviewed for that role. And according to multiple sources, if he got the head coaching job, he was going to bring in Wink Martindale as defensive coordinator. Now, the reason why I think this is important and why I think it's one of the reasons why they fired Dable over Bowen is because of this. Because there is belief in the building, this is my theory, that Dable was holding the team back as a whole from being aggressive. And that includes Shane Bowen as the defensive coordinator. Now, if Kafka was still on good terms with Wink back in January of this year, he obviously not only was on good terms with him, liked him enough as a defensive coordinator and liked his philosophy enough to want to hire him, which tells me one thing. Mike Kafka likes to be aggressive, because you don't hire a defensive coordinator like that if you don't want to be aggressive and blitz the other team. Now, they brought in Shane Bowen because they thought he was going to help stop the run after they had all these issues with Wink. I believe that starting on Sunday, that's also one of the reasons why Kafka did not fire Bowen, is because he thinks that Bowen is going to be more aggressive because Kafka is going to allow him to do that. Now, I could be way off base and I could be 150% wrong about all of this, but it needs to be discussed that this is very interesting, because Wink is a type of coordinator that is not for everyone. And that's personality wise, but it's also scheme wise. We've heard a lot about how he's bounced around the NFL, he's bounced around college, and you have to be willing to take on a guy. You have to be on board with riding and dying by the blitz. And not every head coach is going to be okay with that. And the fact that Mike Kafka was, and Brian Dable was, back when he was cool with being aggressive and playing to win instead of playing to lose, That aggressiveness is a big part of it. So that's one of the biggest things I'm going to be watching for on Sunday is the defense more aggressive, especially on third down situations. Are we going to see less of the NFL's leading edge rusher in sacks dropping into coverage and just rushing the quarterback, which is what he's good at, what he should be doing? So these are the things that I want to see, and I really hope that we're going to see them on Sunday. And it's not going to make me like Shane Bowen, and it's not going to make me think he's a defensive coordinator and that the Giants should keep him. But it's going to give me a lot of respect for Mike Kafka, who came in here and said, I'm doing things my way. It's my way or we're out of here. And that means sitting down with Shane Bowen and being, listen, we got 3 good edge rushers and we got a hell of a defensive line. You better start blitzing people. Starting now. So that's what I'm going to be looking for on Sunday. We'll talk more about it and players to watch tomorrow. But let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments.